if at all, how have you or Scott kind of adjusted this week, maybe met with Kyle and Will to kind of just discuss the news of Cam going to IR, or just try to operate as normal?
Well, we've been operating this way, obviously, for the last several weeks, so I don't think it really changed for us. It's disappointing to me. I'm disappointed for Cam, and I know how much it means to him and how hard he's, doing everything he can to get healthy. But unfortunately, it's the type of injury he has.
Norv, Kyle said to us yesterday that the last week or two, maybe, that you could sort of sense that maybe it was unfortunately heading this direction. Did you sense that too when the foot wasn't improving?
I think Kyle is, what do they call that when Johnny Carson used to, magnificent? Karnak. I don't know that there was anything to indicate one way or the other. I think we're all hoping for the best, and obviously, his trip to the specialist and all those things is just part of the process.
Is it almost a sense of relief that now Kyle's not looking over his shoulder or wondering when he's coming back? Or
Kyle hasn't been looking over his shoulder. Right? It's no sense of relief that, it's disappointing to me. It's disappointing. This in this game, unfortunately, you have this happen with players, and I've been in situations where, you lose guys that they're important to your team. They're important, are very valuable, and you just have to move on.
To your point, Norv, I remember, I think when you got here, talking about how the presence of Cam was part of the draw of you coming here. And so could you just elaborate on that and kind of having to move on now without?
Well, I'm staying. No, Coach Rivera and this organization's reason why I wanted to be here, and obviously Cam's a big part of that, but this is really a good group of young players on the offensive side of the ball. It's a really young team everywhere, but I talked to our entire group the other day because they got to understand that we have so much room for improvement. You got a quarterback that started 7 games. You got 2 receivers that are essentially in their second year, midway through their second year. We probably have 6 or 7 starters under 25 years old. It's an exciting group, so there's a lot to be excited about.
Those 2 receivers, beyond the statistics, which were obviously impressive against Tennessee, what did you see from Curtis and DJ in that performance?
It's funny because it's basically, or very much like the performance they had in London when we played Tampa, and I guess because it was in London, it didn't count. But it's very similar, and it's the way they've been playing all year. So I was just excited that we were able to make the plays we did because obviously you need them. You're playing a team that's playing very aggressive, very good man coverage against us, and our guys took advantage of the opportunities. And honestly, DJ was behind them 2 or 3 more times, and he could have ended up with 2 or 3 touchdowns. We just got to get the ball up sooner and get it out further.
Norv, I know you can't really get into the game plan so much or the scheme necessarily, but in terms of what you guys are asking this offensive line to do week to week, in terms of changing sometimes blocking techniques or different types of things to set up things downfield versus that sets something else up for someone else, especially with all the shuffling on the offensive line of late, how have they responded, and how is that being effectively taught?
It's an outstanding group. They're very professional. I think Matt has become a little bit of a leader of that group, which your center usually is, and he had his best game on Sunday. And I think that's part of what you're talking about. The more those guys get to work together, Trey's back. The more they get to work together, the more cohesive they are, and the better we execute. Obviously, Matchko does a great job getting them ready. We are very versatile. We change week to week based on the team we're playing, the things that we feel are best against them, and John does a great job teaching it, and our guys respond to it and handle it extremely well.
What about Coach Matchko? Every time you talk to a guy about him in the locker room, they just say they want to play well for him. We hear him sometimes, and I know there's that side of it, but also, why do guys want to play well for him?
Well, I think you know, everyone wants to play well. And if it's for a coach, if it's for your teammate, if it's for the organization, we got guys that have a lot of pride, and they know they're improving as players. You know, I go through the whole group. I mean, Taylor Moton was just his second year starting at right tackle. Some guys don't get to the point he's at until their fourth, fifth, sixth year. So he's really improving as a player, as are the whole group.
When you look
How much
at-
has Olsen had to sacrifice as a receiver to help out the offensive line with little chip blocks and things like that? Or has he?
I don't think he has. I think, you know, the style we have and the way people are defending us, the ball's going other places. And in my experience, it goes in cycles. And you do that, you know, he had 3 balls at halftime. He could have very easily had 3 more in the second half. The game changed a little bit how they were defending us. But I think he's going to have one of those games where he has 7 or 8 catches like he's had in the past.
You've seen the conditions around the league, hot, cold, rain, snow, with conditions being in Green Bay like you expect, cold, perhaps some snow, that sort of thing. What portion of a game plan would favor nastier conditions? Do you try to take advantage of maybe some footing issues of the DBs and throw it, or would you primarily think that the ground game is better?
Yeah, we have to attack their defense. In my experience, the fields are so good now. The conditions are so good. They take care of the footballs. It's not what it used to be, unless obviously you get an extreme amount of wind or you get caught in a snowstorm. And it's that everything I see is it's not going to be extreme, and it should be good weather for a good football game.
What's your best Lambeau story?
Pardon me?
Best Lambeau story?
Oh boy.
Guessing you got
Been there. We haven't won there very many times, but we were able to win there when I was in Minnesota to win the division. That was a big game for us. I guess back in like 1988, we played up there, and it was the opening game. And the first time we got into third down, they had 6 defenders all standing up and moving around, that kind of radar look. And really what it was the first time a lot of us had seen the zone blitz stuff. You know, went from Pittsburgh and then Green Bay, their coaches implemented it. And that was when you really first started seeing the zone blitz stuff, where they would all muddle around, move around. 3 of them had dropped, 4 of them had rushed, and it gave our quarterback, Jim Everett, fits. It took us a while to adjust to it, but we saw a lot more of it as we continued through the seasons.
Norv, you mentioned those 2 young receivers and how they had separation against Tennessee, not being able to connect. What is the missing ingredient there?
Well, we connected, and that's because I'm being greedy. We connected some beautiful throws and catches. Obviously, we got Curtis down the sideline, we got DJ down the sideline. They just need to play together more. That's what I'm saying. You know, I love it when you see people talking about, well, they're just getting on the same page. They haven't been together very well. Well, we've got a quarterback who's started 7 games. And, you know, he's going to continue to grow and grow and grow and get better. He's not going to be perfect right now, but I think he looks at that and says, hey, I'm learning as I'm going, and there's plays I will make in the future, and that's the attitude you want.